Welcome everyone back to my channel, and today I'll be doing a tutorial on how you can be able to send emails and SMS to your customers from SAP Business One. And this is an out-of-the-box solution, so it's not what SAP Business One provides. And in this method, I'm going to be showing you how you can be able to query and generate reports, then have them sent to your customers. And in today's tutorial, we'll be sending the customer's account balance. So a note is this method is very important because one, it allows you to fully customize the messages you're sending to your customers, like the email body. You can even add attachments. If it's the SMS, you're also able to fully customize everything that you're sending. So this method also allows you to automate. So you can have this communication being done once per week or daily, depending on what you need. So for this tutorial, we're going to require three things. The first one is an installation of a Laravel application. Then we are also going to be using Gazol package, which will allow us to make HTTP requests. That is to be able to communicate with the APIs from our Laravel application. Then the APIs we are going to use for SMS sending. Then we're also going to use Windows task scheduler. So these will allow us to schedule, um, the reports and have them delivered whenever or at the time that we have specified. So let's get started. All right, guys. So the first step is to have Laravel installed. So in my case, I've already installed Laravel, and this is the project folder. I've called it SAP Communication. So what I want to do is to open it with my IDE. So I'll be using Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to open the code with Visual Studio Code. All right. Awesome. So once the project is open, we're going to do some configuration. So we are going to change the database connection settings to point to our SAP database. So to do that, we are going to change um, the MySQL drivers to SQL drivers for PHP. So you're going to change that DB connection to SQL serve. Then you're going to change the host and the port. So SQL uses port 1433 by default. Then you're also going to change the database. So I'm using SAP demo database. So SBO demo BE. Then we also want to change the username and the password of our SQL database. All right, so once that is done, we want to install a Gazo package. So Gazo package helps us to be able to make HTTP requests from our application. So that will be very essential when we are doing emails and also SMS, because we'll be using APIs. So I'm going to install Gazol. So to install Gazol, we are going to use Composer. So you just put Composer require Gazol HTTP stroke Gazol. So Composer is going to push the latest version of Gazol to our project. Okay, so that's fine as that installs. We also want to now continue and start doing now the development. We are going to start with the email bit. Since we'll be sending the account balance to the customer, we are going to be doing these via email and also SMS. So I'm going to be starting with the email. All right. So the first thing we want to do is to create a Laravel command. So what happens is Laravel provides a way in which we can be able to create our own custom commands, which then can be able to be used when you want to trigger a certain functionality on your application. So depending on what you want to achieve, you can either use external applications as the trigger. For example, you can create your own custom Windows application that will be triggering your Laravel application at a certain period or after some certain number of minutes or hours or days, depending on what you want to achieve. You can also be able to use Windows Task Scheduler to do the same thing. So here we are going to create a command for sending the email. So I'm going to first of all cd to the project communication. Okay. So what I mean by commands is when you install Laravel, it comes with its own commands. So you're able to use PHP Artisan, and then you're able now to execute the commands that you want. For example, to create migrations, to create controllers and models and all that. So I'm going to be showing you how to display that list. So you just put PHP Artisan list, then it will give you all the list of the commands that are available on your application. So what we want to do is to create our own custom command. So to do that, we are going to run php artisan make command. Then we are going to give our command a name. So I'm going to call it send email. All right. Awesome. So once you do that under console, under application app, the app folder, then console, there's a folder called commands. Then inside that commands folder, that's where we find now the command that you have created. So this is the command that you're going to use to send emails to our customers. And in this case, we'll be sending the account balance. So the first thing we want to do here is to change the command name. We are going to call it send email balance. Okay, so and I'll be showing you how this name is going to be relevant. And also we want to change the description. So this sends account balances to SAP customers. Awesome. So once that is saved, we can go back and list the commands available. We should be able now to see the command that you have created. So here it is. So the command is send email, then it sends account balances to SAP customers. So basically this means that our command is registered and it can be able to be used. Okay, so where do we put the code now? So the code comes under the handle function. So this is where all the logic of this command is going to be. Whatever we want to execute once we run this command, we are going to put it under handle. Yeah, so let me check whether Gazol is installing. Okay, so Gazol has completed its installation. So you can be able to check that under composer.json. Yes, you should be able to see Gazol with the latest version, which is 7.2. Right. So we want to now start sending those emails. And how we are going to do this is we are going to write our code here under the handle function. But before we do that, we also want to create an email handler. So how to do that is we need to create an email. So we are going to also run a command hp artisan make mail. We're also going to call it send email. All right, I just think I should call it send balance since it's an email already. So this creates a send balance class, this, which is what we are going to use to send the email. All right, so with that ready now, we can start writing the code. To query the database, the first thing we want to import is a facade called DB. So this DB facade allows us to be able to write our own queries, but you can also be able to use Eloquent, which will actually be a bit faster, but you're just going to use DB. So, all right. So with this, you're able to query the tables that you want. Okay. So the table that you want to query is called OCRD. So OCRD in SAP stores all the customer information, including the account balances, the customer names, the customer codes, and I'm going to show that. I'm going to be demonstrating that in a bit. I'm going to open my Server Management Studio, SQL. So it also stores the vendors, basically the business partners, master data. All right, as that opens, we can start writing our queries. Okay, it's already open. Okay, so we're going to go to databases, then to the DB we are using. Then I'm just going to write a select query here. Select all from OCR. Awesome. So as you can see, this table contains all our customers. So it has our customers, it has the leads, and it also has the suppliers. So what you want is to only send the emails to our customers. We don't want to send them to our leads and also suppliers. So when we are writing our query, we are going to filter by the card type, and we also want to send the emails to only the customers who have balances above zero. Okay, so that's a query we are going to write. Okay, I think we can begin now. And just to mention, this table also stores the customers emails which you're going to use, and also the cell phone numbers, the phone numbers here, and the emails as well. So we're going to define a variable. I'm going to call it customers. Then I want to use DB to be able to select the table. The table in this case is OCRD. All right. So once we have that, we can now be able to effectively query this table. So we want to put our where statements here. The first thing we want to filter is that we only want customers. So we are going to say where card type is C. All right. So card type is equals to C. That's the first thing. Then you also want to put where the balances, the balance is greater than zero. Right, and that's all we have to do here. Then we want to select. What are we selecting? We are selecting the customer name. So we are going to select the card name, and we also want to select the email, and we also, okay, for phone, we are not going to do SMS here, but we are just going to select the card name and the email. Then we also want to select the account balance. So the balance. Okay, so then we have to get. That's it. That's how simple we create queries using Laravel. Okay, so what we want to do is to loop through our customers variable and be able to send the emails to now every customer. So we are going to use for each. So for each customers as customer. So for .NET, it's in, so you don't want to mix syntax. So this is supposed to be customers, all right? So that's fine. So then, after this is done, what you want to do is to now start sending the email. So the first thing you want to do is to create an instance of our class here, send balance. So I'm going to create a variable which I'm going to call email message. Okay, so this is going to be new, send balance. And what we want to do is to pass our variables here. So we want to pass not our data. So we want to pass the customer name, the email, and the balance. So we are going to put the customer then the car name, and we also want to pass customer then the balance. So we might as well pass the email, but there is no need. So this information will be displayed on the body of the email we are sending. So I'll be showing you how that is done. So there's an error here because you have not imported our class. So you have to do that here. We're going to put use app mail and send balance. Right, so that's fine. The error is gone. So after we have done this, now we do the actual sending. So to do that, what we need to do is to use the mail facade. Then we are going to say to. So where do we want to send this email? We want to send this email to our customer's email address. Okay. So for that, we are going to put here customer, and you're going to specify email. Right. So after we have done that, now we say what you want to send. We want to send our email message here. So what you do is I'm just going to copy this variable, okay, and pass it here. All right, so that's how simple it is to be able to send emails. But we are not done yet. So what we want to do now is to actually receive this data uh, inside our send balance class and now be able to display it on our mail view. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So this information here, you can be able to receive it on the construct function. Okay, so I'm going to put two variables here as the parameters. So the first one, I'm just going to call it customer name, which should be the same as this. Okay, then the second one is going to be the customer balance, which now will also get these. Okay, all right, so once we do that, we want to also define some public variables here. The first one is going to be the balance, and the second one is going to be the name. So these variables, being public, are also going to be accessible from our mail view, which we are going to create here. Okay, so you'll see that in a bit. So then we want to assign these values to our public variables. So to do that, we have to use these like the way it is when you're doing it using JavaScript or any JavaScript framework. So you're going to use these, then no, this should be the balance. Then this name, this now should be the customer name. Awesome. So then here we want to define the view that we are returning. Okay. So you want to return a view here which you're going to create. I'm going to create a folder called mail, and I'm going to call the view send balance. Okay. All right. So this is how you do it. So let's go and create the mail folder first under the views folder here. Then under mail, you're going to create now the send balance. And since it's going to contain our HTML code, we have to use blade.php. Okay, yes, this close that mail send balance. Okay, so here I'm just going to create a very basic HTML page. Put the head. Okay, so this basically is going to contain our emails body. So I'm going to put here h1 and hi. We want to address the customer by their name, so we are going to display here the name variable which we have created here, this name, and assigned it the customer name value hi. Then I'm going to just add some few words here, please. Then I want to put the balance here. Okay, the balance, we're going to use balance variable. All right, and with that, we are done. So we can be able to send the email or the emails to our customers in SAP when we run our commands. Our command which we have created. So one or more thing is we must configure our mail SMTP connection. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back for testing. All right, guys. So I have configured my mail SMTP settings. So these you can be able to use Gmail or Mailgun, or there are a couple of other email providers that you can be able to use to do this. So we can be able to begin testing our application. So the first thing I want to do is, since I do not want to send all the customers in SAP an email, and this will also take a long time when you are testing. So there is one uh, customer, one business partner that I have created, and I've put my email as the customer's email so that I'll be able to receive the account balance. So to be able to only send to that customer, I'm going to edit my query here. So I want to also filter where card code only belongs to that of the customer that I want to use. So the card code of that customer is C101010. So I'm going to copy that, put it there. All right. So this should be only able to send the email to only this one customer. Okay. Okay. So that's fine. So now we can proceed to test our application. So I'm going to run a command php artisan send email balance. So let's see if it works. All right, seems like it was successful. If there was an error, the Laravel will be able to display the error on the command on the console CMD. So we can go to our email. So this is the email I'm receiving. Awesome. So it's coming through, but we need to edit some few details. So hi soft console. So it is picking the customer name and also the balance. So you can confirm, yes, that's the account balance. So that's working, but we want to change um, we want to change the sender, and we also want to change the subject. So to do that, we are going to go to config, then we are going to go to mail. So here we can be able to change the mail from address. So this one you're going to put hello or support or info at your company.com. Okay. So it will also be able to display this email. So we also want to change the name of the sender. So I'm going to put Fred Chege Company. Okay, so it should also be able to pick this. Okay, so to change the subject, we are going to go to send balance here. So here is where we want to change the subject. So we are going to just add subject. Then here we can put your monthly balance. Okay, so let's test that out. Okay, it has sent. Let's wait and see. Awesome. So now you can see the subject has changed and also the sender name. And it also picks the email. Oh, it should. Okay, so this is because I'm using Gmail. Okay, but the to email is supposed to be the one that you have specified. All right, so to be able to change this body, you'll just have to play around with the blade file here. You can be able to change the styles, the fonts, and everything. And basically, that's how you can be able to send emails to SAP customers using Laravel application and command. So what now we want to do is to actually schedule this using the task scheduler. So to do that, you have to first create something we call a batch file. So a batch file is a file that is executed and it runs a command through the CMD. So basically, it's like a console application, but runs like an exe. So what we want to do is to actually create a batch file that once it is executed is going to run our command here, php artisan send mail balance. Okay. So then once we do that, we are going to schedule or to add that batch file to our task scheduler and then provide the time and the date that you want that task to be running. So to do that, you'll create a new task here. Then you'll come to triggers, new. Okay. So under new triggers now here, you can be able to say you want that command to run daily, weekly, monthly, or one time, and you can specify the start time and the date as well. And or you want to run it after every 1 hour, 1 minute, like that. Then now here under general, you can also add some other settings, like you can give it a name. And then under actions now here is where we are going to say we want to run a program stroke script. So here you can either send email, but for our case we want to run or start a program. So then here we'll be able to point to our batch file. So I have already created a batch file which I'm going to show you. Okay, so I'm going to edit. So this is how a batch file will look like. So you'll start with that echo off, then you cd to the folder. So ours is tutorials, then it's called SAP communication. Okay, then it's send mail, send email, balance. Okay, so this is all you need to do. So to test this, you can double click it and it should be able to, sorry, system cannot. Oh, okay, so I think the path I've provided is not correct. Let me check. 1 minute. Yes, it's tutorials, SAP communication. So that is wrong. I'm just going to copy these here, save it. Okay, then I'm going to run it again. All right, so it runs like this, just a blank screen, but in the background now it executes the command that you have specified, and it also once it completes, you can be able to close that, and it should also be able to send the email. So that's what you want to schedule here. So you'll just browse to where you have saved that batch file. It is usually .bat. So once you put it here, now you can be able to schedule, and it will run at the time you have specified. So with that, I think we come to the end of this tutorial. If you have a question, something that I have skipped that you did not understand, you can always leave a comment and I'll be able to respond to your question. And also be sure to like and subscribe and share. So see you on the next on the part 2 of this tutorial, where I'll be showing you how to send the balance now via SMS. Thank you, and hope you've learned something.